Okay, let's unpack this. What makes someone look Japanese? It's a question that, on the surface, seems pretty straightforward, right?
Mhm.
But the answer, as we're about to find out, is actually way more intricate and, frankly, fascinating than most people think. Today, we're doing a deep dive into the really diverse physical features of Japan's people, features that are often much more varied than the common perception from outside.
Absolutely. And our mission here for this exploration is really to get beyond just those surface observations. We want to uncover the deep genetic history, the cultural history, too, that has shaped these traits over thousands, literally thousands of years. We're trying to give you that rich context of migration over millennia.
Right.
And we've pulled together quite a bit of source material, cutting-edge genetic research, anthropological studies, historical articles, to really build a solid foundation for this journey.
Okay, I'm already buzzing with questions.
Yeah.
Because I suspect when you start peeling back those historical layers, that's where it gets really interesting. You find some genuinely surprising insights about what it means to look Japanese. It's like a living history written right there on people's faces.
Exactly. It's a story told over millennia.
So let's go way back. I mean, way, way back, over 14,000 years ago. We're talking about the earliest known settlers of the Japanese islands, the Jomon people. When we talk about these ancient hunter-gatherers, what do the sources say about their features? I'm guessing it might challenge some modern ideas.
Oh, you're absolutely right to challenge those. The archaeological finds, the genetic analysis, they paint a picture of the Jomon with quite distinct features. We're talking broader faces, often deeper set eyes compared to later groups, and interestingly, maybe a bit more predisposition towards wavy hair.
Wavy hair. Okay, already not the standard image.
Not at all. And what's fascinating here is how these early migrations created this sort of foundational genetic mix. It's a mix that still influences modern Japanese features today, believe it or not.
So these Jomon people are there establishing themselves. Then what happens? New groups arrive. Is there mixing?
Precisely. Fast forward a bit, maybe around 2,000 to 3,000 years ago, and you get this significant new wave of migrants, the Yayoi people. They came primarily from the Korean peninsula, maybe parts of China too. And crucially, they didn't just bring new genes.
Technology too.
Yes, they brought rice farming, a transformative technology that completely changed the island's development, the population structure, everything. It really shifted the trajectory of Japanese society.
Wow, okay. That's a huge shift, culturally and genetically.
Yeah.
So what does the latest genetic research actually tell us? How did these two ancient groups, Jomon and Yayoi, blend together? What's the mix look like today?
That's a great question, and the answer is really eye-opening. Modern genetic studies show that, on average, Japanese people today are a fascinating blend. It's roughly 40% Jomon ancestry and about 60% Yayoi ancestry.
40-60.
Yeah. But, and this is important, that's just an average. The real story is more complex. Those ratios aren't uniform across the country. They can vary quite a bit, depending on the region. It tells us that ancient mixing wasn't perfectly even.
Right, so it definitely sounds like Japan's population wasn't born in isolation. Not at all. It's clearly the result of a really rich history of migration. Were there other significant threads woven into this genetic tapestry that we should keep in mind?
Oh, absolutely. If we connect this to the bigger picture, Japan is this vibrant result of diverse migrations. We definitely need to talk about other layers. For example, up north in Hokkaido, you have the indigenous Ainu population. They add another distinct genetic dimension, contributing to specific regional features.
Okay.
And then down south, particularly in Okinawa, you can detect influences from Southeast Asia in the genetic makeup. So this historical tapestry, this complex mix, really explains why some Japanese faces might align more with that classic East Asian look, while others carry traits that might seem more unusual for the region at first glance.
Okay, so we have this incredible ancient genetic foundation laid down. Where do we first start to see it really manifest in people's appearances today? Maybe skin tone. Is that a good place to start?
That's an excellent place to begin. Yeah. Our sources definitely highlight a pretty significant range in skin tone across Japan, and it's directly linked to climate and ancestry. You'll find, paler ivory complexions more common in the cooler northern parts, less sun exposure, naturally. But then as you move south, especially into subtropical areas like Okinawa, you see warmer beige and even light brown tones much more frequently.
Is there actual, data on that? Numbers that capture the range? Or is it more general observation?
No, we do have data. There have been surveys on Japanese skin tones. They reveal that roughly 70% of people fall into the fair to light olive category.
70%, okay.
Then another 20% are in the medium beige to light brown range. And about 10% show deeper tan complexions. And those, as you said, are often found among Southern Island populations. It's truly fascinating how the stats show such a broad spectrum yet.
Yet, there's that powerful cultural ideal pushing the other way, isn't there? I'm thinking of bihaku.
You're hitting on a key point there. It raises this really important question. How do these natural, climate-influenced variations interact with cultural ideas about beauty? Because while this natural diversity exists, Japanese media and fashion often glorify lighter skin. They promote this ideal of bihaku, which literally means beautiful white.
Why is that so strong, do you think?
Well, historical factors might play a role. Maybe a desire to differentiate from outdoor manual labor, perhaps class associations. Oh, it's complex. But our sources also point out that, for instance, rural populations, and especially Okinawans, often embrace their deeper skin tones. It's part of their identity.
So there's a tension there.
A real tension, yeah. It fuels ongoing debates about representation, about what beauty really means in contemporary Japan.
Okay, so skin tone. Way more varied than many might assume. What about eyes? Most people probably have a very specific image in mind for Japanese eyes. Is there a similar kind of hidden diversity there?
Indeed, there is. I mean, it's true that over 95% of Japanese people have dark brown to black eyes. There are varying shades within that, of course.
Right, the vast majority.
But there's a subtle, but, statistically significant variation. About 4 to 5% of Japanese individuals carry specific genetic variations. Alleles, scientists call them, for lighter eye tones.
Really? Lighter like what?
Like rare hazel or even amber hues. And research suggests these are actually more visible in northern regions.
Northern, connecting back to.
Connecting back potentially to that stronger Jomon ancestry influence in the north. It's quite unexpected for many people.
That really is unexpected. And then there's the epicantic fold, the quote-unquote almond eye. Is that uniform or does that vary too?
It definitely varies. While the epicantic fold is common, its prominence actually differs quite a bit regionally. Northern Japanese and Ainu groups often show deeper set eyes, maybe with less fold definition again, perhaps another nod to that Jomon heritage.
Interesting.
Whereas Southern Japanese populations tend to display more pronounced folds more often. So even within that common feature, there's nuance reflecting those diverse genetic roots.
So skin, eyes. Let's tackle hair next, because that's another one, right? Stereotyped as thick, straight, and jet black.
Well,
but I'm guessing our sources show a hidden spectrum there, too. All those anime characters maybe aren't the full picture, huh?
You got it. The reality absolutely challenges that simple stereotype. Now, it's true, about 80% of Japanese people do have straight black hair. That's the majority.
80%? Still high.
Still high, yes.
Huh?
But a notable 15% actually have wavy textures. And this is seen as a direct legacy of Jomon ancestry.
15%? That's not insignificant.
Not at all. And perhaps even more surprisingly, about 5% show naturally lighter shades like dark brown or maybe a chestnut color. Again, more commonly found in northern regions.
And the thickness.
Yes, the thickness. There's a specific gene called the EDAR gene. It's found at a very high frequency in Japan, and it does contribute to those characteristically thicker hair strands. But the key takeaway here is that wavy hair is significantly more common than stereotypes would have you believe.
That's fascinating. So much more variety than I would have thought. Okay, so if these individual traits, skin, eyes, hair, vary so much by region and ancestry, what about the overall face of Japan? Do different regions tend to have distinct facial structures or general looks?
Oh, absolutely. The facial architecture itself tells this incredibly compelling story of regional diversity. It's almost like a living map of those ancient migrations we talked about. For instance, northern Japanese people in areas like Tohoku, Hokkaido, they tend to have, on average, broader faces, maybe higher nose bridges, and generally lighter skin, all reflecting that stronger Jomon and Ainu genetic input.
And this is measurable.
Yes, absolutely measurable. Anthropological surveys have recorded quantifiable differences in skull and facial structure, craniofacial differences they call them. Differences of up to 12% between northern and southern populations have been noted.
12%. That sounds quite significant, anthropologically speaking.
It is. And then you contrast that with, say, central Japan, the Kanto and Kansai regions around Tokyo and Osaka. There you often see more oval faces, moderate nasal height. This is often the look considered the classic Japanese appearance, the one frequently seen in popular media.
The default setting, maybe.
Kind of, yeah. And then you go further south to Kyushu and Okinawa. There you find generally rounder faces, slightly darker skin on average, and maybe softer jawlines. This clearly shows that Southern Asian influence we touched on earlier.
Wow. So these differences aren't just anecdotes, they're observable patterns.
Exactly. Measurable and consistently observed across the archipelago.
And finally, what about something many people notice, height and build? Has that changed much over time? Are there regional differences there too?
Indeed. Modern Japanese average height. For males, it's about 171 centimeters. That's roughly 5'7". For females, it's 158 centimeters, about 5'2".
Okay.
But what's truly remarkable is the change over time. This is a significant jump compared to post-war Japan. Back then, the average male height was only around 160 centimeters.
That's a huge increase. What drove that?
Primarily improved nutrition and overall living standards, urbanization effects. It's raised the national stature by over 10 centimeters in just about 70 years. It's quite dramatic.
That is dramatic, and regional differences persist.
Yes, even here. On average, northern Japanese tend to be slightly taller, while Okinawans tend to be a bit shorter. Though, interestingly, Okinawans are famously noted for their exceptional longevity.
Right, the blue zone connection.
Yeah.
Fascinating. Okay, so when we pull all this together, these ancient migrations, Jomon, Yayoi, Ainu, southern influences, the regional variations in skin, eyes, hair, face shape, height, what does this all mean for the very idea of a typical Japanese look? It sounds like that whole concept gets pretty shaky.
It's precisely where the core, not controversy maybe, but the core complexity lies. Some might argue, that the true or typical Japanese look is that pale-skinned, straight-haired, almond-eyed profile often seen in central Japan.
The meaty image, perhaps?
Exactly. But our sources, the genetic data, the anthropological studies, they're very clear. Okinawans, Ainu people, and increasingly mixed heritage Japanese, they don't fit this narrow mold, but they are absolutely 100% authentically Japanese.
Right.
And this raises that important question, doesn't it? How does a society navigate that tension between preserving a traditional image and embracing the reality of its evolving identity?
It sounds like there could be real friction there between clinging to one idea versus a more diverse, changing reality.
There absolutely is friction, and national identity discussions plus globalization just add more layers. You have an increase in mixed marriages, much more global cultural influence. Young Japanese today are increasingly displaying traits that challenge any idea of a single, uniform national appearance.
So you get different viewpoints.
Definitely. You have some, maybe older generations or traditionalists, who worry that this diversity might somehow dilute or blur Japan's unique identity. But then you have younger generations who are far more likely to see this diversity as natural, as positive, simply as the future. It's a dynamic, ongoing conversation happening right now.
Thinking about this, I can't help but picture Shibuya Crossing in Tokyo, that famous scramble intersection, just packed with people.
Iconic.
Yeah. And I can visualize it now. Maybe a young guy, pale skin, sharp northern features rushing across. Right behind him, maybe a girl with wavy dark hair, slightly tan skin. Maybe her family's from Okinawa laughing with friends.
Yeah, I can see that.
And then holding her mom's hand. Maybe a little mixed heritage kid with striking hazel eyes, lighter brown hair. The crowd just flows. Thousands of faces, thousands of different histories, all moving together, all Japanese. It feels like a living snapshot of everything we've just discussed.
That image really captures the emotional side of this, doesn't it? Because appearance in Japan is, well, it's deeply tied to pride in your ancestry, where you come from. But it also involves these real struggles with conformity sometimes. Our sources mention how families might highlight distinctive features. Oh, she has her grandmother's fair skin, or he's tall like his northern relatives, or look at her beautiful wavy hair. Sources of pride.
Right.
Yet at the same time, school cultures, workplace environments, they can sometimes put pressure on individuals to fit into a narrower, maybe more idealized version of looking Japanese, particularly in certain contexts or regions.
But it's not all conflict and pressure, is it? Are things shifting? Are people starting to openly embrace this diversity more, maybe through social movements or cultural changes?
Yes, definitely. And that's a really positive development we're seeing, especially with social media, right? It's given rise to campaigns celebrating natural diversity, people proudly showcasing Okinawan tan skin or highlighting Ainu features. These movements are actively reclaiming different beauty standards.
Pushing back against that single bihaku ideal.
Exactly. Pushing back, expanding the definition, and showing the incredible richness of what it actually means to be Japanese today. It feels like an exciting time of evolving self-perception, really.
So as we bring this deep dive towards a close, I think the main takeaway is crystal clear. Japan just cannot be reduced to one single face, one single look. We've really unpacked how it's this nation where ancient Jōmon and Yayoi ancestries blend, where northern and southern influences meet, where, millennia of relative isolation and bursts of migration and now modern globalization all collide. It creates this unique and wonderfully diverse population.
Absolutely. And if you connect that to the bigger picture, it just underscores that any identity really is this dynamic tapestry. It's woven from migration, from climate adaptation, from deep history. The diversity in physical features in Japan, while maybe subtle sometimes compared to, say, highly multi-ethnic countries, is profoundly present. And it tells this continuous evolving story of the Japanese people.
So the next time you see a Japanese person, maybe someone with that classic ivory skin and straight black hair, but then another with wavy strands and warmer skin tones, and maybe someone else with those unexpected lighter eyes. You're not seeing contradictions. You're actually seeing Japan's past and its present inscribed right there in living people. It's a testament to thousands of years of dynamic history.
Beautifully put. And perhaps the deeper lesson here for all of us is that identity isn't really about one singular face or one rigid ideal. It's about, well, 1,000 variations, maybe more. And all of them belong to the same richly layered story of a nation or even a person. We'd really encourage you, the listener, to appreciate that nuance. Not just when you think about Japan, but maybe in your own observations, your own understanding of the complex, diverse world all around us.